Hello, welcome back to the Everything is Possible podcast. I'm your host, Laura Chacon Davis. And in today's episode, we're going to be getting back to business. I am going to share more about what our business actually is, how we got here, and what we experienced in the first couple years of actually getting a business running, what we did do, what we didn't do, what has worked for us. And again, this is just our experience. I'm happy to share. And I would love to hear from other folks in the comments if you have started or are thinking about starting a business for yourself or your family. Share your experience too. We'd love for you to be a part of the conversation. So I think I've mentioned that we are running a home repair and remodeling business, and this came about because my husband was exploring his interests and possible career paths. He started doing handyman work, I'd say 3-4 years ago, just because, well, he was fixing things in our house and really wanted to learn. He's good at learning. You know, we joke about the University of YouTube, but it's true. He has learned a ton of how to fix things, tools, and learning it like the right way, like doing everything top level. He is very dedicated to the Milwaukee brand tools, which is like the best you can get. And specifically, he spent a lot of time and energy doing some pretty serious remodeling on our new home where we live now. Took out 2 load-bearing walls, redid like all the electric, most of the plumbing. So he's got it covered. Pretty much everything you can do in the interior of a house and some exterior stuff as well. And while he was doing jobs here and there as a handyman, people started asking him, hey, could you like redo this bathroom? Like, how much can you actually do? And he was already had this handyman business going. We had already established the LLC. It was already a business, but it was really more of a gig than a business. The shift was when people started asking us for these bigger jobs. And he realized, there's an actual demand for significant work and it could actually support us. If we put in the time and effort to grow this thing, it could be a legit business that could sustain us. I think you could say honestly that we did it a little like backwards or upside down because we just started like doing the work and have since figured out how to structure the business and how to make it work. Like I said, we did have an LLC registered, but that was about it. We had a logo initially for the handyman stuff. We changed it, and a lot has evolved and changed in the process, and that has worked out just fine for us. So I do want to say that there are some things that are recommended that you do to start a business. We didn't do all those at first, and yet it has still worked out. I'm going to share a little bit first about what we didn't do, just as an example. We did not make a business plan right away. We have been working on building one since, but there's a lot of programs and consultants out there that give you a lot of kind of homework of this is what you need to prepare, this and that document. And yes, I do think it's important to think through what is going to be your finance structure, how you're going to make money, how you're going to manage this or that situation. But I don't know, we learned a lot just by doing it. And we did not spend money on like business building programs or consultants. There are some free resources out there like the Small Business Development Center that have some things that might be helpful. But I wouldn't say it was like imperative to get that kind of like one-on-one hands-on guidance and advice. I mean, we did a lot of Googling. We have talked to other people and, we have tried to learn and educate ourselves on what we need. But I think we've done a pretty good job of kind of figuring it out on our own. And granted, like I said, now that we're here continuing to grow and evolve the business, we are implementing more and more structure, getting more formality to something that can continue to sustain us. Another thing we did not do is we did not have any upfront funding or loans. We are self-funded. Now that too is sort of a point of privilege. If you're able to put in your own money to buy, tools, supplies, whatever you might need, it has been an investment on our part. But again, there is a lot of things out there that will try to convince you that you need to take out loans, get funding, upfront capital investors. In our case, for what we're doing and what worked for us, our business, our family, we managed it ourselves. Now, we had, some support and input from family members just getting started, but it was very minimal. And again, I wouldn't say that anyone should feel like they have to do a big upfront investment or take out a loan in order to get a business started, at least. Another thing we're not doing is we don't have any professional like in-home help or childcare. And I mention this because so many of the other like female entrepreneur things I listen to talk about how you've just got to hire someone, you've got to have someone manage the household so you can run the business. Well, that's not practical for us. And so we're making it work without that. Not always easy, but it is doable. And at this point, I would love to introduce our first sponsor for the podcast. It is Davis ATE Home Remodeling, a family business based in Lebanon. Want to add a new deck this summer? Looking to add a new bathroom? Contact Davis ATE today for a free quote. Link is in the description. Some of the things that we did do to get our business started, like I mentioned, one of the first things you've got to do is have a legal official structure. It is pretty easy. It's very easy, honestly, in the state of Ohio to register an LLC. With that, you can get your tax ID number, which is actually called an EIN, an employer identification number. And then you can open a business bank account. You can then, get your Google workspace set up, your domain. We made a logo, social media, and that kind of stuff. Again, we did not stress about what our logo should be, getting the perfect website, this or that. We just put something out there because once it's out there, you can always update it, modify it, and evolve. It will evolve as the business evolves, as ours has. Those basic things of like your LLC, your tax ID number, bank account, that's just really basic stuff that is not that difficult, and it sets you up, legal and financially to do things as a business and not just as a person. Another thing that we actually did do is, as soon as you have a business out there, you're going to get calls from people trying to sell you marketing, this, that, services, platforms, CRMs. And I was kind of iffy at first. At first I was like, oh, we don't need any of that. We can't afford it. But here and there, if something came along that I was like, sure, I'll listen to your 10-minute sales pitch, I would, give them a chance, listen to what they have to say. Sometimes it was like, yeah, no, I don't think we need that, or that's not in our budget at this point. But there were a few things where it was like, I don't know, maybe we'll try this CRM, maybe we'll try this marketing thing. Oh, someone wants to upgrade our website? Let's give it a shot, especially if they're willing to offer you like a steep discount for the first 30 days or trial or something. Try it out. We tried out several kind of like marketing and CRM stuff for like a month or two here or there, and eventually none of it felt like something we wanted to stick with. But having tried those things out, it really helped us figure out what it was we needed on the marketing or CRM side. So I would say if those opportunities come to you and it seems like something you could at least learn or benefit from for a couple weeks, a month or two, don't be afraid to give it a try. Now, one of the things that we're still figuring out is how to navigate this world of taxes as a self-employed person and small business. Stay tuned. I think I'm going to do a whole other episode on that later and maybe bring in some other small business owners that I've met. One of the biggest things that we learned as far as how to actually make money is getting out of the mindset of selling your time. And this was something that was, I think, tougher for me. My husband, Ben, he figured this out sooner than I did. But especially if you're providing a service or a good, it's like there's the amount of time or whatever that you invest in to create it, right? But that's not the only thing of value that you're putting in. If you are spending time marketing, running the business, managing your home that is also your business location, there's a lot more time and effort that you are investing to create the thing, to provide the service. And we have continued to evolve over time. What is our model for pricing? How do we actually make money? Because if you just charge for your time, your labor, you're not actually covering all of your real investment, all of the real cost. And I think this is something too that comes from the mindset of what it means to work and, earn a living. Is it just your time that has value, or is it your skill, your effort, your knowledge? everything that you've put in to get to that point. So I would encourage you, if you are starting a business or looking to start a business, think about what it actually takes for you to live, to pay your bills, and what all you're actually giving and investing to this business, to this service or product that you're selling. It's probably more than just your time. Couple other things that have come up, marketing, sales. Yeah, marketing is a thing that I have had to learn a lot more about. Sales as well. Again, there's so much to talk about here and it's still evolving. And so I hope you will continue to join us for this journey. This has been, just part one of many of sharing what it's like to run a family business. So thank you again for joining us. And once again, I'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, Davis ATE Home Remodeling. Also want to thank our tech crew for giving us this amazing lighting and sound setup. And if you've got thoughts on this episode, on your own experience, if you've got questions, please share them in the comments. I would love for you to be a part of this conversation with us. Again, my name is Laura Chacon Davis, here to remind you that everything is possible.